story of birth. So I was born in the end of 1939 with the Second World War on the doorstep, to a Jewish mum and a non-Jewish dad. And what my early experience of being human was that on the outside there was the total extreme of inhumanity being offered to me. And on the inside in my home, there was the extreme of humanity, as my parents were constantly sacrificing life and limb to save just one person, to bring food to just one person. As my father used to take off after curfew, and if he would have been seen, he would have been shot instantly. And he would then, he had a motorbike, and he would push that motorbike as far away, because we lived very close to a military center. And so he would take off, and we never knew whether he would come home. My mother never knew if he would return, but he would go out to the farmers and he would give them things that we had that they couldn't get, because there wasn't any way of going to the supermarket or whatever. We were all, if you think, being in lockdown for a couple of years, I sometimes think, how did my parents cope? And so I was in that dichotomy of the two extremes of humanity. And when I look back at that, that was such a gift, because it gave me the opportunity of choices of what my life was to be. And so for me, any situation that is inhuman is a very simple choice to say no to, because I lived in that space that outside my door there was that extreme lack of consciousness, lack of accountability, lack of kindness that is innate in the human form. And on the inside, there was this constant fear, but no matter how terrifying it was, there was the persistent, never giving up of, let's just do what we can to save one human. And that has always been for me a driving force, where to this day, when you talk about the spirals expanding, and yes, at my age, I guess I have done quite a lot of expansion, but what came to me with a little sadness at that moment was that, does the spiral then contract? Because I see so many people who have been burdened by the maintenance and the suffering and the struggle of life without the connection to a higher state of consciousness, without this realization that there is so much more to express, so much more to explore, without even the connection to the life force, because the burden of maintenance and struggle that's being put upon us by others has taken them so far away from the self-knowing. And that statement, first know thyself, that needs to come back to us, that needs to be imprinted upon our children. Know thyself. Find your intrinsic key, your frequential signature that will steer you always towards the hero's journey of the greatest expansion for you. And it is not to be put in comparison to your neighbor or your friend. It is to celebrate together and say, wow, that's your journey and that's my journey. And isn't it great? And can I support you in your journey when you need it, or can I ask for some support when I need it? So it was really, and I bring that to today because I hadn't quite heard from you two whether we were going on or not. And I woke up this morning with this incredible heavy energy, and I thought, wow, this communication that we have was really very need it in my heart. So I'm forever grateful for that, because that is what this new earth is about, is to reach out and to be able to say, today I would like some of your energy, and tomorrow, and then I have more energy to give. So there is this continuous spiral within humanity where we are there for each other together. This separation that has been forced upon us for so many eons, through religions, through nationalities, through governments, it is the most inhumane structure or construct that we've fallen into. And we can look at that from a perspective, as we talked about before, of wow, that is really bad. No, it's really good. Because just as much as I grew up being able to say no to anyone who tried to control me, anyone who was offering me a lack of love, a lack of consideration, a lack of human kindness, I could say no to, because I'd seen it all. I'd seen the pain of it, the destruction of it, and I had seen, on the other hand, what it drew out of my parents. No matter what the pain was that they suffered, they dug deep. And that is what is required from humanity. These are the hidden gifts of being human. We come as multi-dimensional, multifaceted, beautiful expressions of creation. And through the breath of life, with every breath we take, we can either fuel that expression of creation into something that is going to expand, that is going to nurture, that is going to fuel and feed the good of the human kindness, or we can use it equally, because it's still free will, for the constriction and the destruction. And at the moment, what I saw in my early years of my birth is what's right out there right now. Those two extremes. And we are again, and this is why I get up every morning and I will not give up. I will draw out of me every ounce that is still hidden within, while there is still breath in my body, to just assist only one more being to find their way home to their innate beauty, to their innate life stream, to expand that spiral into the new earth of the humanity that we have lost. Someone stated yesterday, I was listening to someone, what do you think is the biggest threat? Well, to Australia, to humanity. And I think the biggest threat is our forgetfulness of our humanity, our selling ourselves out for the trinkets and the goodies and what, someone giving you permission to go to the movies? I went to the movies yesterday. Wow, and there's still people coming in with their faces in a bag. I don't get it. You know, that's how ingrained this fear is. And I'm going, I feel such compassion. Such compassion. Because it's the breath of life. The breath that we are told to be afraid of. Think about that. Think about that. How can that be a truth? Because it's the biggest gift. It's the only gift that gives us life. And anybody tells you to be afraid of your breath, they're not human. They're not there for your well-being. You're most definitely not there for your health. So for me, the hidden gifts that we have, all three of us have given an expression of how we see that from where we're coming from. And each one of us has offered a different picture. And yet, we are all three coming from the same place. And that is this innate, beautiful space of love for life. All life. Not just human life. Life of our flora, our fauna, and our beautiful planet Earth. Whether it's round or square or flat or triangular, I find that all so bizarre when people talk about that. Who gives a shit? Excuse me, it's my first swear word I learned in English. Is it going to make any difference to me right now? No. In actual fact, my team laughs and says, if you only knew. It is none of those, because we're thinking of it as a solid mass, which it isn't, which we are not. So I just want to thank you guys for being here today for me, so that I am able to be there for humanity. That is all that I breathe for. Thank you.